Hi, welcome back to Carlist, and today we have the Toyota Veloz, a car which has sparked a lot of controversy. Why? Because it's got a twin, costs much less. But you know what? This car and that car, the Perodua Alza, it's a bit like the Apple Watch. That's a Series 8, and this is the Ultra. Alright, just like the Ultra, it's the better looking Apple Watch, and this is the better looking car. Why? Because it's got its own front end. Why? Because you can't simply just put all these body panels onto the Perodua Alza. It has got its own panels. This is different, side fender different, and it's given some touches to make it look wider. Yes, I know dimensions are the same, but because of styling clues such as this T chrome bit, this wide grille here, this car just looks wider. Although it has the same dimensions, this car has been given the beefed up treatment, starting with the wheels. It's got 17-inch wheels, doesn't have 16-inch wheels. Also, to make the car look longer, it's got chrome strips going all the way from the front, all the way to the back. Yes, it's such a small touch, but it makes the car look longer. So you've got a wider front, longer side profile. And the same recipe goes at the rear. Yes, it might look the same, but the Veloz has a light bar going all the way across. Its twin stops here. It doesn't have this fantastic styling that you'll probably see at nighttime. Okay, like I said before, this car is more expensive than its more affordable twin. Everything, including the roof side, has been given the beefed up treatment, including this roof rails. This is just not decorative. This is functional. It can carry up to 75 kilograms worth of weight. So, like I said, everything has been beefed up. Okay, so as you approach the Veloz, you can't see it now, but at night time anyway, you'll see that the lights come on. But what this car has, compared to its more affordable sibling, is passenger side keyless entry. You don't get that on the twin. Last but not least, in terms of the beefed up treatment, the Toyota Veloz has DRLs at the front. Now, its twin doesn't have that. You'll have to pay extra and gear up. Oh, by the way, I love standard equipment. Why? Because you know, these DRLs, if you're just stationary for a long time, it'll switch off. If you try to add that on as an accessory, as an aftermarket thing, I'm sure you can't incorporate that very well. Okay, like I said before, I'm all in for standard equipment, including this raised height. Yes, in the Alza is a little bit lower. I like that it's high off the ground, which means if I go over a speed hump or anything like that, I don't worry about it hitting the ground. Also, another part of standard equipment that you appreciate is that this car comes standard with tints. Who says you can't feel like a boss when things comes as standard? I don't like going to a tint shop, them opening my panels, stuff like that. I prefer Toyota do it and you just buy the car and drive off with it. Unfortunately, the beefing up outside anyway ends there, because this comes with a 1.5 litre NRV engine which kicks out 106 PS, 138 Newton meters of torque. It's also coupled with CVT transmission. I wish they beefed it up here too. Alright, so welcome to the inside of the Toyota Veloz. Okay, yes, it looks exactly similar to its twin, but Toyota has given some nice touches to make it feel different. Starting with this soft touch panel here, grab handles at the door. You just don't get that in its twin. I'm not really a big fan of this colorway, by the way, the black and white, but somehow it works in this car and gives it an uplift. Also, there's some small details that you won't really notice, like the aircon vents. It is different from its twin. Yes, such a small thing, but all these small things put together just makes this car feel like it's got an uplift. So another thing I appreciate in the Veloz compared to its twin is this, the climate control. You get the digitalized just buttons in the Alza. This, you actually have knobs. Now I know this is subjective, some people like it, some people hate it, but I just like the fact that you can just quickly get your climate controlled. So like I said before, this car is like an ultra version, okay? So everything, yes, although they are small, everything in here is a bit more ultra detailed, I must say, okay? Starting with this, yes, there's extra pockets here. You don't get that in the other car. Also, it's been designed to have an inward curve, which means you get more knee room. Saying that, it's also got soft touches here, which is nice touch, but everything else is kind of similar, including bottle holder here, bottle holder here. You've got some USB points for charging here, and yes, you've also got aircon vents, which by the way you can control from here. Okay, so like I said, the front seats, it has an indent at the back. Now that might just seem like, okay lah, you're just trying to give it additional features for no reason. Well, actually it comes in handy. Toyota are very smart. Okay, so if you want to make the rear a little bit more comfortable, you're obviously going to have to push this forward. Because there's an indent, say about there, yes, where people can be comfortable, people here can be comfortable. Also, what that means is, third row passengers can be comfortable too. Yes, I might seem like I'm a bit upright, but they've thought about everything. Just slide a bit down. To be honest, I can see myself sitting here on a very long trip. It is quite comfortable. Plus, you've got some ports here to charge your mobile devices, so kids will always be happy. And yeah, some awesome space back here. This car's quite good. Okay, so another thing I like about the Toyota Veloz is this. So all seats are in operation, but you still have space for a pram, bags, whatever. You don't usually get that. I have a 7-seater and I can barely put anything back here when I have all the seats up. But if you ever need more space, obviously, just simple as that, and you have more space. I find that fantastic. But if you ever need more cargo and you need to carry 7 people, there's always that roof rack, right? Which can support 75 kg, so more bags. Alright, so what does the Veloz feel like to drive? So I've had it for a few days now, so I kind of understand its behaviors. Alright, so the first thing, okay, this car is just so easy to drive. I don't feel like it's the biggest car in the world when I drive this car. Yes, it's long, but it just feels like I'm just driving a Myvi. The steering is quite light, and you know, you can probably just do a one-handed drive, which is perfect for city driving. Now, the one thing that bugged me is the transmission. I don't know, it doesn't feel like it's smooth. I mean, it doesn't like predict things. I mean, sometimes it'll lurch forward, sometimes it will just hold it back. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong, but I don't feel like it's the smoothest CVT transmission out there. But you know, if you're just cruising along, just nice and gently, it shouldn't be a problem, because you know, it's just nice and easy like that. So I think a lot of people must be wondering, okay, the Veloz has larger wheels than its twin, and does that make it have a harsher ride? Actually no, because of the raised height, it kind of overcompensates for the larger wheel, so the ride is quite pleasant. It's pliant, and I think there's just not really a problem. It's just really comfortable. On flat roads, it's very smooth, it's just nice. And actually, one of the things that you appreciate, that over like bad surfaces, you still don't feel it. I mean, let me just try something. Yeah, I mean, there's, you know, you're obviously going over a hole, but it's still quite nice, controlled, and you won't feel like you're being smashed around everywhere. Let's address the elephant in the room, the engine, the 1.5 engine. Okay, it's not the most powerful power plant in the world, and yes, most of the time you'll be okay, you're just cruising along. But sometimes you just feel like you need a bit more oomph when you're going uphill especially. Imagine that with like 6-7 people inside and you're probably struggling to find pace. But yes, you can just step on the pedal and the car will just roar, and yes, it'll try to gain some movement. But then you got to deal with that roar, which is quite annoying sometimes. But you know, largely most of the times this car is quite quiet and you won't be bothered by that. Now, one thing this car has got perfect down to a T is its advanced safety kit. Okay, so it's got all that pre-collision system where it can warn you and help you brake. It's also got lane departure warning and prevention. So those things will come in handy whether you're on a touring holiday mission to somewhere else, and it'll come in handy when you're driving around town going in and out of traffic. Yes, it beeps a lot, it's a bit annoying, but it's there to just notify you of the hazards that this car is facing or you driving is facing around you. One thing's for sure though, I like this light steering wheel because around town it's just quite good. I mean, so easy to drive. I like cars that are easy to drive, especially when you're going to use it as a dad's taxi or Monday to Friday and you're going into town the weekends, you know, and I like that a lot. But largely the driving experience is similar to a Myvi, and what that means is just light to drive, it's easy going, and probably just makes you feel like you're driving a small car. It doesn't feel like a large, long car. And to top it all off, if you're ever stuck in traffic, this car has a very clever cruise control, which means that if you set it, you've come to stop, the car will stop, and the car moves on. It'll just follow the car in front of you. So I really like that. It's a pleasant feature to just de-stress yourself when you're driving in traffic, you know, 5 p.m. or 8 a.m. in the morning. I like that. So it's quite complete. I mean, the driving experience is just good, and I've nothing really to complain about it, except for that niggles in that CVT. My experience anyway. Some have found it to be smooth, not me, but you know, I can see where they're coming from, because sometimes it has been, sometimes it hasn't been. Okay, so yes, that is up to you whether you're willing to pay extra for this car or save a little money and go for the Alza. Yes, at the core of it, it'll deliver the same thing, but Perodua Alza is like the Apple Watch and the Toyota Veloz is like the Apple Watch Ultra. Now, I'm saying they're not really competing with each other. Its true competitor will arrive this year, and that, the Honda BR-V, will really test whether this car is worth it or not.